Hey, Coach, it's David Hood. It looks like this game plan, while not exactly the same as against Wake Forest, kind of the same. Run the football, run it outside, kind of try and limit, the mistakes.
So it was hard. It was hard to hear. Can you repeat that?
It looks like this game plan was kind of similar to the Wake Forest game plan. Just run the football, kind of trust the running backs and the offensive line, and limit mistakes.
Oh, no doubt. We knew we were going to have to run the ball. You look at the breakdown on South Carolina's defense; they're top 15 in the pass defense. With where we were from a personnel standpoint at wideout, and the backs have really started to come on. Finally had some cohesion and continuity on the offensive line, and then coming off the performance against Wake, I knew these guys had some confidence. So it's kind of what we were doing well against the area where they not as well on defense, and so we wanted to establish the run. I really challenged the guys to establish the line of scrimmage. Thought we got off to a good start, fast start with the drive there. Thought DJ did a good job of what we asked him to do. Obviously, the numbers weren't as high as they've been in the past, but I thought he managed the game efficiently. Had a couple of plays that you want to get back, but really proud of the guys being able to establish the line of scrimmage, run the ball, and then no sacks when we didn't need to throw it.
Tony, this is Larry Williams. Is the two-back stuff just sort of the next phase of this offense? Just curious what went into that.
We've done a little bit of that in the past. I think you remember when we finished out the game in Santa Clara, we were in a two-back set, had two running backs in the game. Coming in this week, it was let's get the best personnel on the field. That's why you saw a little bit more of the two-back, and you also got more of the 12 personnel, two tight ends, just trying to get the best personnel on the field. They did a good job of aligning and adjusting to the 12 personnel stuff. I was hoping to catch them off guard just a little bit. And then in the passing game, what they said tonight is we're gonna press you, make you convert, and make you throw the low percentage throw. But a good thing the run game was going, and the two-back stuff kind of caught them off guard, and we had enough variety within that package to kind of keep them on.
Hey, Tony, this is Anna with Clemson 24/7. How pleased were you with the play of the offensive line, especially that interior? It seemed like they were really getting good push in the run game.
Good push in the run game. The backs were able to get going and get some momentum before any contact. So really proud of those guys. Thought they did a good job of just establishing the line of scrimmage. From the get-go, we were able to run the football and had a lot of success in the second half. In the first half. Second half, we only had 5 possessions. We were able to score 3 of the 5. Would like to have run it just a little bit more effectively in the second half, but when we needed to, we were able to get it done.
Tony, this is Pete. Go ahead, man.
Sorry, I was just going to say, what's it like when you're able to just line up and run it right at them the way you guys were in the first half? And it seems like they know what's coming and still can't stop it.
I think what it does is it just ignites your sideline. There's nothing more demoralizing to a team than to have a ball ran on you. It sets the mentality, the mindset from a physicality standpoint in the trenches. It allows you to stay ahead of the chains, so you can stay. You feel like you're in control because you're able to stay ahead of the chains. So it opens up some other things. So some of the play action stuff, some of the move the pocket stuff was there when we needed it. So whenever you can establish a line of scrimmage and run the ball, it just ignites your sideline. It helps. It helps to control the game, keep guys. Yes, sir. Keep the sideline fired up, and then also helps your defense too because you can take some time off the clock and help those guys rest before they have to go back out.
Tony, this is Pete at AP. What does this say the way you guys finished up after having the adversity that you did this season and maybe 6 weeks ago? Some might not have expected you guys to finish the way you had.
I think first and foremost, it speaks to the foundational principles that Coach Sweeney's laid in his program. About effort, toughness, never quit, belief in self. Playing 60 minutes, believing in your teammates, even when the outside says not to, and then the good young men believing in those foundational principles and going to work and being able to block out the noise and focus on what was most important, and that's playing for the love of their brothers, the love of the university, the love of the team. And we were able to persevere through the adversity. And then come championship time, we were able to lean on the championship DNA of the program. So just a testament to the entire staff Coach Sweeney does an unbelievable job, as we know, of making sure that we all understand the direction, every day throughout the course of the week. Most importantly, man, those young men in the locker room believing in themselves first and foremost, when everyone else around them told them not to, believing in each other, believing in the program, believing in the foundational principles, and just putting everything else aside and going to work and doing the best they can day in and day out, and then letting things fall where they may.
Hey, Tony, Sam Newman from the Clemson Insider. What can you just say about Dacari Collins' development and maybe his willingness as a run blocker as well?
Oh man, Dacari, you saw some big plays in the run game last week. Very physical. Really proud of him, because he was a guy that came in mid-year and maybe did not have the start of the season that he wanted, but when we needed him, he was ready and he stepped up. And we needed him here down the stretch, and he's made big plays both in the passing game and the run game, and he's going to continue to get better. So this experience, here at the end of the season for him is going to pay huge dividends for him going into next year for the bowl game and for his future.
Hey, Tony, Brad from Clemson SI. What's it been like watching these two young running backs, Shipley and Pace, just develop throughout the season and become the players that they are right now?
Man, it's fun. It's fun. I had the privilege of having Kobe for a year before turning him over to CJ. But just to watch what CJ has been able to do in that room, obviously, that was my baby for 10 years. It took a lot of pride in it. And it's tough. When I recruited most of those guys, they came to play for me. But to watch CJ step in there and just be who he is and galvanize the relationships with those guys within the room and the relationships to him and be able to bring the best out of those, man, it's so awesome. It's so awesome to watch. And just the type of young men that they are, they're all very, very high character young men. And that's what you're seeing on the field. The ability to get better, the humility that they have to go to work every single day, even when they're having some success, to be able to find ways to improve. It's pretty special, man. The future is very bright. And don't overlook my man, Phil. Phil didn't play, as much throughout the course of the season, but down the stretch, he showed what he's capable of. Man, it's gonna be a fun three-headed monster that CJ is gonna have in the future.
How satisfying was it there at the end, instead of kicking the field goal, going for it on 4th and 2 and seeing Phil run it into the end zone?
That was fun for Phil and all those guys, because felt like, honestly, we had to settle for some field goals. Want to try and score touchdowns as much as we can, but you got to play smart football at times and take the field goals. And so it was a situation there, like we were gonna run it. We weren't gonna kick the field goal. Either we were gonna get it, or it was going to be a turnover on downs. So for those guys to bow up, and it was a lot of the down the line guys, getting some of their first action during that series, and for those guys to go in and not only convert the 4th and 3, but to be able to punch it in for a touchdown was a cool moment.
Tony, does it help as a play caller or change, I guess, the way you call plays when you see how South Carolina's offense is doing against the defense? And it seems like they really had no chance of putting up many points tonight.
Not necessarily in this game, because we knew that we were going to have to run the football, but then also we were going to have to pick our spots to be able to throw it. So it was really more focusing on, okay, how can we stay true to what's working in the run game, but then also, not become predictable by running, the same variation of the same play over and over. We ran the same play, several times, but we were trying to, show some window dressing. And then there were some times we said, man, hey, let's just line up and see if they stop it. So it was more focusing on, what we were doing. But then, the benefit is the defense was getting us into situations. Now we had some long yardage, some long fields. We had several inside the 5 drives to start with, and, thought we did a good job of moving the ball. Did want to finish a couple of those drives with some touchdowns, but overall, really, just today was about focusing on what our guys were doing well and continuing to make sure that we give them enough help as coaches to make sure. And a lot's going to be said maybe about that 4th and 1 there, but that was on me. Just trying to probably outsmarted myself. Thought maybe we could draw them offside. Had a little dummy play there, and they flinched, but they didn't jump in the neutral zone, and so we wasted the play there.
Tony, this is Grace Rayner with The Athletic. You mentioned the job that CJ Spiller has done. Shipley told us earlier in the week that maybe earlier in the season there was some jealousy in the room. Just how have you seen that room evolve, especially after you guys lost some of those guys to the portal?
It takes time, and And again, that was a tough situation, as I said, for CJ, walking in. He'd been around, he knew those guys, but, all those guys had come to Clemson to play for me as a running back coach. So you make that transition, and then it was a fresh start. And so what happened is you had guys that took advantage of the fresh start, and then some guys that didn't take advantage of it. And obviously the running back position, those guys are so used to touching the ball all the time. And so now you go from a situation where maybe you thought, just from a hierarchy standpoint or a transition with Travis, that things were going to go a certain way. And CJ had to establish, his code of conduct and his mode of operation within that room. And so, early on, and then the adversity on top of that, didn't help. But once he was able to get all those guys to buy in, now you're seeing, what's paid dividends. And, love the guys that decided to move on, understand the situation. Probably timing. If I had to say one thing to those guys, just timing may not have been the best thing, but it looks like it's going to work out well for both of those guys. And, matter of fact, talked to one of them the other day, called to wish me back a happy birthday. So, they made business decisions, which I understand, but that also created opportunity for the guys, that wanted to buy in, that wanted to be a part of what CJ was establishing in that running back room.
Hey, Tony, this is Todd in Greenville. I'm wondering how important it was to establish something early with the way the crowd was.
Well, we knew that, we had to prepare our guys because, there are several guys on the team that never been down here. We didn't get to play these guys last year. And so it was the first time coming in this environment. And always had a ton of respect for fan base of South Carolina. The atmosphere, the environment, man, it's always a great environment when you come down here. So we knew that it was going to be, our responsibility, especially with the opening kickoff right there, to put together a drive and see can we kind of take some of the energy out of it. You look at the game that we had, an opening kickoff versus UConn kind of quieted the Valley down. So we wanted to make sure that we try to do the same thing in the offense. Held up there in the bargain, put together a drive, and then put the defense back out there and ready to go.
Tony, what's it been like this year, just winning a game? I mean, tonight DJ passes for 99 yards, but yet still put up 30 points, win fairly easy. I guess what's it been like these last few weeks, maybe not having to pass as much and still finding ways to score?
Just doing whatever it takes. And as I've always said, I really try not to be an ego guy, and take my ego out of it and try to put the young men in the best position to be successful. Trust the eyes of the coaching staff to help make adjustments. And then for us this year, each week it's been a season of its own. Here the last couple of weeks we've had less of the adversity, but you lose EJ. The last couple of weeks, thought we were going to possibly get him back this week. He's not ready to go, and so just trying to play to the strengths and do what we feel like we have confidence in. And the last couple of weeks, man, the guys have really been confident running the football. The offensive line has been doing their job. We were able to protect the quarterback when we needed to throw it tonight. So, hats off to the players for sticking to it and creating somewhat of an identity here as we went down the stretch. And then us as coaches making sure that we adhere, to what's working and try to just continue to build upon the confidence that the guys have.
Tony, it's been a long time since you haven't been preparing for an ACC championship game this week. How does that change what you want to do in terms of, assessing and then, maybe working on some developmental stuff for the next several weeks?
Well, first of all, this next week's going to be focused on recruiting. We haven't been in this situation where we've been able to go out and recruit, and we still got some positional needs that we got to go fill. So we're going to get out and recruit, give the guys a break, let them heal up. We'll have the support staff working on, our self scout, being able to understand kind of how we finished, and also start prepping for the bowl game. Probably won't know who we're going to play for another week or so. So this next week will be focused on recruiting, the guys getting healthy, and then the guys, the support staff, will start to put together some of the postseason stuff for the bowl game, but then also some of the stuff that we'll do to analyze ourselves. And then when we come back the following week, it'll still be some recruiting, but then we'll get more geared in on preparing for the next opponent.
Take one last question for Coach Elliott, if anybody's got one. Okay, hearing none, thank you very much, Coach Elliott.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We've got Will Shipley coming